for me, is from me, is there's a lot more that's on the internet. You know, YouTube has thousands and thousands of, you know, YouTubes that you can look at. So let's get started. Shell ornaments, the famous shell ornament. And I didn't do what I was going to do. I got to move this so then we can see. I was going to turn that on and try it. Okay. So let's talk about shell ornaments. Let's get this down out of the way. Okay. How many of you have seen shell ornaments on the internet? Everybody? You know, if you participate, I got prizes up here. And if you want to tell a joke, you get 2. But this is that turquoise that Lague did last month. If you go to internet or go to newsletter, I ordered some. I got a couple of pounds, but I also got some samples. So they're all turquoise pieces. Whoops. Let's do it right. Let's put it on the lathe here. And also the copper powder. There's the real fine, there's a medium, there's a mixture, and then the granule. So yeah, if you want to participate and you write me, hey, I made a joke or made a comment, you get one. So how many have seen it? Lots, all over the internet. So how's it start out? You go down to your shell store down the street. There's one up in Jupiter that I go to, and you can purchase these shells.
Or you go to the shell club.
What's that?
Or you go to the shell club.
What shell club?
Broward Shell.
Oh, the shell club, yes.
I'm president, so that's why.
Yeah. Should we do a quick commercial or? She goes to the shell club and they have these really cool. I wonder if they have more than what I have in this bag. That looks kind of cool because I only got these other colored ones they could buy. You know, these here. So that's pretty much. I thought maybe, they had a different species and there's thousands of them.
Oh, well, they do, but they're very large and very expensive.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so you kind of want to keep it small for a Christmas tree. I did one time birdhouses that were, it was kind of bulky for the family, but they put it up anyhow to, make me feel good. So anyhow, you buy it like this. And if you look on the internet, they have to get this round. And at one time, I thought this was a great idea. You put this on your lathe and you can, make it round that way. Since then, I found out it's very easy to take a Dremel and just make it round. And then also the little spines that are on there, you need to make it flat so then you can have your finial sit on top of it. So you grind all that off, but it's still a little fragile if you drop it. But, a lot of Christmas ornaments are fragile anyhow. So what I do as an additional step is I fill it full of foam. So I take the foam and, very small amount because it does expand, the expansion foam that you use, and put it in there, and it actually makes it more rigid. And that's what I do. So I also, for me, I glue these on top of here. I know there's other videos you can watch where they put the wood all the way through it and they combine it. I did that. It's a lot of work and a lot of technical stuff, so I just kind of glue it on top. So I just kind of make it like that. And then if you get too carried away with your foam and you paid $2 for these things, you got to be careful how much you put in there because you can't explode it. So I exploded that one, but they come out pretty nice. Those, there's one I think come out okay. Again, I only made this within the last week or so, so you see how easy it is to, watch something and put it together. You may have to watch more on the finials, and we'll talk about Cindy Drosa. She's got a website and videos you can go to and see how you can make these and her techniques. So then I had my daughter color one. You can color one, but I didn't finish it. Ran out of time. She hoarded it. She wouldn't give it back to me. So I finally, last night, I stole it out of her room. But Again, it's just a lot of different things, a lot of different pieces. Again, you're turning this on the lathe. You can, to do this technique, you'll see different people that put the wood in, they'll do the bottom. And when they do the bottom, they leave enough of a spigot, and then they'll turn it around and then do the finial part. Me, I just put it on there, do the finial part, do the bottom, size it up, and cut it off because I'm always in a hurry. So that's one Christmas ornament. Anything about that? Any questions about that? Again, I didn't talk about, you can buy these eyes to put on top, screw into the top, hang it from a tree. But they do look pretty cool, on the tree. So that's one of the type. Then another type, what we'll quickly make today, is a spinel, completely spinel type. And that, again, is very quick, very easy in my mind. I say that may take an hour today. It's 10 o'clock already. Wow. Wrong clock. So again, very simple. I just put the wood in there, and you're just going to do certain elements. And we'll talk about, there's only 4 elements that you can make, right, with a straight piece of wood and a gouge. One's a cove, one's a bead, and then sharp points into the wood. So you just make combination of these to make it, your finial. So very quick and easy, and I just start with a wood like that, round it up. We'll make one, we'll show you. Not right now. A couple more. And the other thing I have to do too is I have to leave one on the lathe to remind me what I'm doing. So it's always good to have a picture or whatever. If you look on the guidelines or if you look on the guidelines or the papers that I handed out, there should be a picture in here. I hope, unless I cut it out. On page 2, somebody, got a little technical. They do it, size their ornaments perfectly. So if you want to do that, that's fine. If that's your personality, go ahead, do it. But I'm just going to do freehand, free eye, and follow, basic rules. Okay, so another one. So we'll do that one. And one of my other favorites that I found the other day, I did this one. This is pretty neat. It's kind of fun and very, very simple to do and quick. So I did this probably about an hour, the whole thing. And we get into checks too. Here's your investment. So anyhow, I was going to show you on the chuck. I can do it right here. So just toss that in there. You can drill your holes all the way through. Your small one for your finials, all the way through. Oops, sorry about that. Everything's round up here. Thank you. And then you turn it, and then you use your, for your larger hole and drill all the way through. Very simple, very quick. Then you could, once you do that, come back and do your finials. Just pop your finial into the small hole. I didn't sand any of this, by the way, so that's how quick and cool it looks. So I did sand on the outside, but nothing on the inside. You can take and spend a lot of time doing the sanding inside these holes. But then you can put some kind of other element inside. I just quickly made that little Christmas tree and put it in there. You could put in, jewelry or whatever you want to make it different. You can paint this, stain it, use different kinds of wood. This is rosewood here. This is hickory. So, but I just kind of left it in its natural. And I think it looks pretty good. And then again, you just drill a hole. You can either drill a hole all the way through the bead and put a ribbon on it, hang it, or, you know, use the eyes that I showed you. This one is a cool one that I thought was cool. I know they do inside out. That's a lot of work. Explanation of inside out is they take wood and they glue it together and make 4 of them. I guess I should have brought a form, but they'll take and, you know, people will glue these together. Then they'll turn it on the inside, like the inside's going to be round or some shape. You'll see it on the web. And then they'll take it back apart, and then the outside goes in, and then you turn the outside again. Hope I explained that. Everybody probably sitting there, yeah, I mean, I know that, right? The professionals here. Why am I up here? So then he glues it back together, and he can make an ornament that comes, you know, similar to this. But I like that way because it's simple and easy. And that's what I'm about. Okay. And again, more to come here. You know, now you sea urchins, the finial type, the bulb type. Here's another favorite. This is very simple too. And it's a bulb. I mean, basically, and that's hollow. So you do have to hollow it. But again, piece of wood, I drill a hole through here to get where the finial and go all the way through on the wood, and then shape it on the outside. And then the only hard part would be to use a tool like this to hollow it. So you're going to go inside and hollow it like that. It's not that hard. It's pretty simple. You're going to go inside and hollow it like that. It's not that hard. It's pretty simple. Just don't get aggressive like I do. I shove it in there as hard as I can and try to get done. And then you build your finials again and glue those back on. Okay, we are getting close to turning, so I know that's what you're here for. All right, how about these? You'll see these on the web. These are cool. Little snowmen. There's all types of different snowmen. But one thing I did learn from the web is how to do the eyes and the nose. You just don't paint them on there. There is this type of slick, puffy paint. It's for fabric, and it actually rises or keeps a dome on it. So you can buy those, $2.69, $2.49. But I found that is what you could use. Aha. I am putting everything upside down. So again, it's simple. It's a spindle turning, quick and easy. You know, then it's off the lathe, and you just do a few things to it. You can, again, paint it. Some of you are artists. Okay, what else? One more. I'm holding you to the last, to your favorite one that everybody wants to do. Christmas trees. You can set them up like this. You can make different styles. That one's the easiest, just a hint. You know, you use a spindle gouge, you can cut it like that. You can just use a, what do you call that tool? Oh man, would you like some? Yeah, sure. All right, Cindy, I know you got 3 pounds of those at home.
Lee has 3 pounds. I don't know that.
Well, maybe you should take 2. So again, those are simple. We'll do one of these. Those turn out pretty quick. But what was the tool again? Parting tool, yeah. And you see, just put it on the lathe and you're just running a parting tool. But how deep do you go? That's up to you. You can make it straight in the center, real small, or you can go with that tree. You put a piece of tape on the end of your parting tool here to give you the depth to go in, and you stop. That's how I did this one, you know, to more or less give that taper that's in there. I heard somebody cut different tools, but this is simple. Yeah, just come across. and we'll do one of these. Not one of them. One of these. These I like these a lot better. You should go smaller to larger with your differences. So those, like I said, those are easy.
Excuse me, on
Yeah.
that one that you just put up, you didn't go straight in with the parting tool, like a thread. It's at an angle. Not this one, the other one.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Some people, I didn't. Some people, and I'm not using a parting tool, only using a spindle.
Okay.
But you can.
Went,
Yeah, that's
cuts are at an angle, like a thread.
good observation. You need to get a couple of them because if you look at the angle of that, that is the angle of the bevel of the tool. It's a 40-degree angle right there. Is that what you meant? This
Yeah,
on the
but
bottom
then
side.
You went, as you cut, you start moving sideways too.
It looks like a thread.
Looks like a thread.
Does it really?
Yeah.
For some reason, it looks like a spiral thread.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the light?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah. But
It looked like a screw.
yeah. Oh, it does.
Not a spiral. It's supposed to be that way.
Yeah, it was meant to be this way. How about this one? Does that look like that? Yeah, a smaller screw with a bulb on top. These are cool. They're small and quick and easy. A little bigger. And all right, let's talk about wood. I think everybody knows a lot about wood, but making these, I found out, there's some wood you just throw away. And you want to pass that one around?
I think we should.
Okay. Here. So let's quickly talk about wood. What kind of wood do you want to use? You use wood that you're going to paint, which is great. But there's some wood you don't use, and it's on my list. Anybody want to shout it out, what you should use? Pen blank. How many people have about 400 pen blanks at home? Yeah, there you go, fennial. Get rid of it. Make Christmas ornaments, hand it off. That's what I found. And I'm going to start doing that because I got boxes and boxes, and I'm like, I'll never make a pen. There's one that has a name of, I'm not going to say it, but it comes with the label and everything. Boy, how do you do that? That's cool. Okay, first one gets the name. It's no. Boyacoti. All right, so out of these, which ones would you choose to, look at that, to turn a fennial out of? Okay, all of them? No, I didn't bring the other ones. Oh, look at this one. This is beautiful. Look at that. That's beautiful right there. What's that? I think he said the word. Straight grain. Okay, so we got our straight grains. Here's our straight grain here. That's, believe that's blackwood right there. Straight grain. Straight grain. Boy, I didn't bring any other ones. There's a burl. So burl, I have done burl with and regretted it because there's no straight grain. There's grain everywhere. And so you make it, it looks very pretty, you finish it, then you put it up and hand it to somebody, then it pops up and it breaks off. So you don't want that. There's more on the list that you don't do. Steel, you can do steel, but I couldn't do steel, so that's off the list. But anything with a straight grain that you can do. And this right here is, what do you call it when you put it in liquid and you cook it?
Stabilized.
Stabilized. This one's stabilized. I already gave you something, so you can't get two. So this is stabilized. This is great to turn, but it's very hard as rock, but that will hold together. This is rosewood, and that's what this one is. This is rosewood right here. So again, and here's epoxy. Epoxy you can do, but again, it's brittle. And you know, you'll hit it one time with a tool, you'll sharpen your tool, and you hit it one, so you're going to go back and forth, but it can be done. So when you get into something like this is great. You can turn a finial on that, and I have, but it's so dry and so light and dense, you barely sand it. And then you can paint it, but it just don't look that great. So I would stabilize this to do it, but you can make a finial out of that. And these are, I'm talking small finials. My favorite is box elder because it comes out kind of smooth, easier to finish. So what other ones? So softwood stinks, yeah. Like, yeah. Banks, what you call that? Banksia pod. Yeah, that's not a good one. And if you listen, I'm going to give a commercial for Cindy Drosa, give her all the honor to this, is she goes through all this. This is even her finial guidelines that she does. So finial design, if you go to page 3, making it different, progressive proportions. She goes through all this with her videos. She does a very excellent job of doing that, just the shape and form, because a lot of us can make the finials look fat, heavy, and ugly, or instead of some kind of form that looks attractive to our eyes. Even though
technically the one on top is a finial, but the one on the bottom sometimes called an icicle, and the design is slightly different.
Yeah.
For the different purpose.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, Carl, because when we brought out where'd it go? This one here, that's what I had in mind. I just kind of cut it, like an icicle kind of thing, or you can make different designs instead of a finial. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Okay, so that type of wood, we're getting close to turning. That's going to be exciting for you guys. All right, we talked about types of wood. Let's look at the tools, the journey of tools that I've been going through for the past 10 years. Oh, there it went. I knew that would happen today. Did it break? If not, that means I'm a perfect turner. If it did, I did a sorry job. It did break. Did it come apart? I didn't glue it very well. So let's talk about tools. See? Look at it. Steven, you broke it. It's glued together. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, ready for glue. So let's look at that. Now, let's talk about turning and Cindy Drosa's turning and to the diverse of Dan Lague. She'll put you see it just barely in there. And what I did is I put that, what do you want to call it, Carl? Socket, mortise, put a mortise in there. And then you have a tenon on here. Well, I didn't make it deep enough, or I did make it deep enough. But, there you go. There's something you got to practice. You got to, do more than just one. And that's the one I got. So thanks, Steve, for picking that up. So anyhow,
Did you put those pieces together?
I just gently glued them. Yeah, and it was Type Bond. I just used Type Bond. And there's another key there. Why didn't it hold real well too? Is this has tung oil on it, and I left the tung oil inside the tenon, so there's no holding power. But it was cool bringing here. I could show it to you, but after time it would have just broken right off, just like it did.
I've been using a lot of, I don't know what you call it, quick setting epoxy. It comes in little tubes.
Yeah.
It fills in perhaps better than.
Yeah, it probably would have been better than trying to do it. It's the only thing I had. So,
I
yeah.
think super glue and epoxy will work even with somewhat. But,
Oh, really?
Wood glue, it has to be pure wood,
Yeah.
without anything on it.
Thank you for that. Tools, that's what we're going to do. Favorite tool, there's markings on it. There's a reason, right? See, I brought a lot of tools to take up more time. This is my, my trail, or whatever you want to call it, of tools. So we'll put these a little bit more in order of what we're going to do. Okay, you got to use the right tool for the right thing. Would I use this for a finial? I think some people would try to, and I did at first. Big tool, got to use the right tool, and notice how long the handle is. If you're doing a huge bowl, for those, this is a great tool. You're holding it out here, you're turning, and you have the bowl in here, and you're turning the bowl in. So this is a great tool. And then when you turn in a bowl, you'll get into watching videos about the grind, because you got the change of the curve in degrees. So this one's made for the outside. I got another one that goes to here, which is at 55, and then another one that does the flat. So I actually have 3 tools to do the bottom, but I'm just pointing out that, use the right tool for a little tiny finial. I thought that was important to me because I tried to so many times during the years using the wrong tool. Parting tools, my venture of that, or a journey for that, is here's my first parting tool, which is great, and I have converted into a tenant tool. And what I mean by that, for those, is these jaws are at a certain degrees, dovetail they call it. And if you could see right in here, you can see the dovetail, how it is curved, or not curved, but at an angle. What? Asymmetric? What? Angle. Did I say angle? Okay. So then I ground the tool to match that angle. I think you can see it right there. So all I have to do is go in, and that's how quickly I can make a tenon. Yeah. So I started doing that, and then you get lazy. And there's a saying in there that says a tool in the hand is better than 2 on a bench. I'll use a gouge if I had to, and if that was in my hand. So then you'll hear the famous 40-40 grind. I was using 45, any other to grind. I'm sorry, guys. I know everybody's looking at me like, oh my gosh, people are trying to shove that down my throat. It actually works for me. Some tools. There's like the other tool that I just showed, this other bowl gouge is not at 40-40. But for the small work that I found, it works very well for me. And so what that means for those who don't know, again, it's on the web, and Cindy Drosa goes by it, swears by it, and I started using it, and I kind of like it. So if you look at that, it should be 40. Like if you put on there that's 40, and then the bevel is at 40. And it works for me. And so how do you make a 40-40 grind? On the web, it says you got to do it all by hand. But no, there's a guy out there called Ron Brown. Ron Brown has a tool that you can put, I know we don't have a grinder or anything, but you can put this on there, and you also put this into the Wolverine jig. Thank you. Into the Wolverine jig. He tells you where to set it up on the Wolverine jig and how you set it up onto the grinder. And this length here is actually the length of where it goes into the Wolverine jig. And if you look, that's more than, typically it's 2 inches, but this one's like 2.5 to 3 inches. And when you put it on there, it actually makes a very good grind. You know, and that's done with the Wolverine jig right there. It's not done by hand. So I used to try it by hand, but then I don't. Jig right there. It's not done by hand. So I used to try it by hand, but then I don't. So Ron Brown, just remember that. He makes these. He also has this that sit in the pocket. And every tool that you have, you can sit and mark on the back where that arrow or where that arm should line up to. So I have my spindle right there, have a bowl gouge right here, and then I actually have this, which I lied, this is at 35 degrees because it gives me a sharper end on the spindle gouge. Okay, I'm going to confuse a lot of people, so I'm going to throw these down, put these away, and then we're going to just specifically talk about the two tools that we can use today, or three, really tools, these are the same. So this one, like I said, is at 35 because it gives me more of a point. So that's when I started using, and also you notice the nose is very sharp. Why is the nose sharp for me? Because I took and almost threw away every spindle gouge I had because I couldn't use it. Why do I like, who wants to get, why do I like, here's a traditional ground. I know it's kind of dirty. But see how round it is and flatter? There's more surface space at the end of the tool. So this catches more to me. But people use it all day long. They love it. That's fine. But for me, I like the Cindy Dross's 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter tip. And we'll look at that. So that is also done with a jig. Very quick. I used the same setup. I throw this on there, boom, I got it. I'm done, I'm ready to go. But then the Cindy Drosa grind is a little different. And you can make this on the jig. I have made that curve on the jig, but I do it by hand now. And if you listen very closely to how she says she does it, you got to hear it 3 or 4 times. There's like one sentence in there. It's the key to the entire thing. I won't tell you what it is. So I'll tell you real quick that you go at 40-degree bevel, right, on the grinder, and you do the wings first at 15 degrees. But the whole key of it, if this is the grinding wheel, you point the tool straight up. And you have to do that so to get the correct angle on the side. If you grind too much, you'll grind it right into, the flute. But that was the key. She only says it if you listen to her videos, she only says it real quick. Flute straight up, or she'll go flute at the ceiling or something like that real quick. But that's the whole key in grinding the side. That's what I found. That's my experience. Because I was taking it, at first I thought she said flute towards the wheel. So I was rolling it too far. And then that made me have to roll the tool more if I was going to use wings. And typically you don't use the wings on here, only for a peeling cut. And I'm left-handed. So a left-hander doesn't use a lot of peeling cut. Only right-handers, because it's in the right hand, and they'll take the tool and run it down the side like that. I can't do it, but I'm cutting uphill. And that's the other key we'll see in a minute. And here's our famous tool. Everybody gets like, don't do it. If you see it's a lot of surface area, it's at 40 degrees. Let's say, if you read my notes on there, I only go 4-inch maximum. And also this is smaller. I have a 2-inch one. Would I use that on a big spindle? Yeah, I'd have. I didn't have this. So it's not the right tool, but this is the right tool for small work. Spindle only. So that means the grain is running this way and the end grain on a bowl is coming at you. This doesn't like no end grain. See, it's written on there for you. So if I forget, oh yeah, no end grain. So no end grain there. So let's talk a minute about safety. So some other people already know about this. We talked about it a little while ago. So I got up Saturday morning, got in a hurry because I hadn't done anything. And so I stuck this in here real quick. And I was like, got it right there, got it to hold. And this had square ends on it. So I said, hey, this is cool. Typically use a tool to our marker to get center. This is the easy thing to do is use center. So you mark it, you got center. So I thought it was cool. I'll just take and put it on the lathe and I'll run my eyeball at both corners. I'll bring up the tailstock and put it on there. I thought that was cool. So I did that. So once I did that, tighten that down, what did I forget to do? I forgot to tighten that. So I was in a big hurry and I was doing my chicken wing. There's a little joke in there. Chicken wing, there's a lot of people like taking the tool and running across here and making it round and it takes forever. Well, I use the chicken wing method. I take my arm and I always cut downhill, and we'll do it. I'll show you. So I was cutting downhill and you see the cuts on there. And it's going like crazy because I'm in a hurry. And then I came off the end, and you always should cut back this way. If you don't, you're cutting into end grain, and you never should cut end grain with this tool. I cut into the end, it flew up, cut my hand here, and hit me in the mouth. So this thing came up and hit me right here. So I had no face shield on, by the way. So in a hurry, got it done. Don't do that. Bad thing for you. So, all right. So we're finally going to do something. Took longer than I thought. Any other questions on tools or anything? The Dan Lague journey with the tools too has been handles, who's different handles and things like that. You know, the big thing about handle is the right size for the right work. I'm starting to get to a small handle. This is my recent one because these are still, you know, a little bit big, and they always talk about having on their side. It's great if you can do a bowl, but Fendel, you need to, you know, maybe you're going to point at it and you're going to use your wrists a lot more. The Journey 2 is, you know, $85 here, and I like it because it's heavy. It actually holds on the lathe a lot better. One thing I didn't do is drill this far enough to make this shorter. Because if you leave it long like this, this also is going to cause vibration to run down there. So there's another tool maker out there that has come up with new tools. And I don't know, because this piece of metal is actually, well, this piece of metal is actually probably about that long. I don't know if you've seen that tool yet, but the, you know, the belt, or what do you call that part? The groove. The flute is only that long, but they have the metal out here, and then they have it into the handle just barely. So you can imagine the vibration that's running down and running back. So you can get harmonic, and you're going to see it on the piece a little bit if you got that good eye. So I like making it shorter now. Again, it's all preference in my journey. Oh boy, here comes the good part. So where are we going to start? A holy piece of box elder. So this is where I get trouble, right? I put this tightness down, and I forgot to do that, right? And I also shouldn't have done it that way, right? Okay, let's do it the right way. Pull this out. Tighten it down a little bit, get it centered up. Okay, just remember, this is what I did the other day. So I come in here, put my center in, turn this in, and I'm good. Right? Am I good?
No.
Oh man, yeah. Tighten it down as hard as you can, because is that a good tenet? I think it is, because the jaws are almost all the way across. The points are sticking in. I think it is, but usually what you do, for those who don't know, is this is going to be rounded, and then you put it into the chuck, and then you're going to be riding on the, what do you call the inside of dovetails. You're going to be riding on the dovetail, and you're going to have more surface area touching the wood. Right now, I only got the points touching the wood, but it's safe because I got it. up to the end. And now I'm not going to, be a hot dog and try it. Well, maybe I will be. Hot dog and,
Also, when you put a tenon on the end and you put it in the chuck, you're relying upon the face of the jaws against the wood. In other words, the tenon is smaller than the diameter of
yeah,
the main diameter of the wood. So this, you're just relying upon the jaws themselves biting into the wood. For that smaller piece, it's fine.
yeah. So, yeah, that smaller piece is good. But for those who are wondering what we're talking about, let's just do it. Okay, my experience too has been you put the top of the what? Tool rest with the tool laying down at it, point to the center of the wood. Okay, not if it's up like this, sure, you can do that. You're just going to have to hold the tool up here like this. But this is a good way to remember and have a rule. Hope everybody agrees to that. So let's see what happens when I turn the face shield. Let's put the face shield on. And let's talk about mask real quick. I know some people say this is the greatest. It is, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, because you can breathe the wood. This is what I use, and I'm actually developing asthma again. But you should use like an N95 mask that does seals right around. I know Lee uses that other one, but it still has the gaps. So I don't know, but he's fine. He's probably got lungs like, metal or something.
Solid wood.
So face shield, everybody can hear me, I hope. Everything good? It's not hitting the tool rest. Speed. Oh, wow, got a speed on it. So I'm going to do what Carl said, but I'm going to do this real quick, and then I'm going to do my chicken wing. Gotta show you my chicken wing. So if you look at that line down the middle, that's because you don't use the entire tool to cut at one time. So you're going to cut off the end. Okay, here comes my tenon, like Carl's talking about. You got this piece of metal, or this piece of wood. This wood here is going to touch the jaw. Ooh, I didn't do it enough. Look at that. But when it's spinning, you couldn't tell. So the jaw is going to hit here, and it's going to be clamped down on the wood here. So that becomes more safe than what I have there. But still, we can live with it. All right. So Saturday morning, I get up and I do my famous. And this tool, you cut downhill, right? Do we cut downhill with this? There's only 2 cuts with this tool, right? Oops. Peeling cut. 3. I'm trying to remember. Peeling cut. Cutting downhill. And there we go. I'm going like crazy. But you get to the end, don't go into the end grain. So you're going to come back across. Okay. So that quick, that easy. You use the side. Use the bottom. And you see it skating. And how do you know it's round? I hope I'm not boring you guys. I know some of the professionals here are just totally, your eyes are rolling backwards. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just said it, right? You were going back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Works. I think it's proper.
Is that number 4? And then you can tip up to get a slicing cut. Put it up on the edge. Make it nice and smooth. See, it's a little bit rougher. So that's only, all right. Now you got me wondering what you're thinking. Nice and smooth. Look at that. So there's 3 or 4 different cuts, right? And that's all you do with this. Don't try to stick it in a bowl. Don't stick it on the end. It'll catch. Doesn't like end grain. So are we good? Okay, let's go over to what I learned. Cindy Drosa and Dan Lague threw the spindle gowns down a couple years ago because it skates too much. What's the rules on there? There's rules in there. It says straight at the wood. So you have 3 different cuts. Well, 4 if you do a peeling on the sheet there. One is, you can do straight lines. Convex, page 1, which is a bead or a cove. And I'm just going to briefly go for it. So if you want to help me, but this is what I learned. It works really good for me. So let's see how it works. And if you got some other advice, I would take it. So like Cindy said, is you get that initial, and you notice I put my hand on there because I'm already nervous about it skating. So if you go like this, it's bad news. If you're flat up, you're bad news into the wood. You can do it, but better have the face shield on, be ready. So an entry cut is usually on the 3 o'clock side or 9 o'clock side. So you're straight up. So if you're not, it's going to skate, right? So here's goes to skating. So how did I get it to stop skating? So if it's going backwards, that means I got the flute a little bit open. And if you look at my beautiful grind that I put on there, because it's Dan Lague, at the house, it's not perfect. So part of that metal is going to be high on one side and part's going to be lower on the side. So once you start using the tool, you'll start noticing that, and it stops, skating on you. So I'm going to turn it in a little bit, and then I get it. I'm there. So then once I get it into the wood, I just push straight in. Okay, what if I go over too far? Which way does it skate? Oh. So now it's skating that way. So that was the whole key in spindle turning. Where are you, Bill? Whole key. I mean, it really is. But you got to point it towards the middle. If you watch some of the videos, some of the guys have it up here, and you're touching the wood on a curve of your tool. Your tool's curved right there. Again, you only want to, in my mind, this may become an argumentative thing, but I think it works for me. And we're only cutting right here, right on the very end. And it's got a radius, but if you can figure out where you are, you're going to go right in. And then you can start your cuts, right? So the different cuts, boy, this is going to bug me. So the different cuts, cove, right? So this is just an entry cut, sharp corner. You can do that all day long. You need to turn it over. Notice I'm already used to where the bevel is, or where I'm turning it so I don't skate. So then, let's do, so the easiest cut I found is a cove. If you're at the center, you just stick the tool in, and then you turn, and you always ride on top of the wood. Do the same thing on the other side. You notice I'm doing something weird here, but a lot of people right on top of the wood. Easy cove. And they talk about dropping the handle. All I say is you keep the tool on top of the wood. If you get towards center and below, forget it. It's going to pull the wood up or break your finial. You always ride on top. And you're always riding on top of the bevel. So bead's pretty easy. The best thing to do is put a line, and you're going to cut on the side of the line. You're not going to cut the line away. And then you first hit the rub of the bevel. You can see the wood being cut away, and then you just take it and round it down. And there's your cuts. Everybody's saying, yeah, makes sense. I don't need to go any farther then, right? Okay. Any questions on that? I mean, I'm telling you, it took me a couple of years until I started watching Cindy Drosen on that. So let's do a ornament. That's what you're here for. Let's see. What wood are we? Where's the box elder? I think I just cut it. No, this is it. Oh, here we go again. Notice I didn't put any. I'll put an X on there. So I don't try to do what I did the other day. Just simple. And it has to be square. That's the other thing we didn't talk about. This has to be square or it can come out. I'm just going to get it to hold it so I can get the tailstock up. And I'm going to remember to do this now. I pushed it in pretty good. I'm also squishing the fibers in there. So I'm not going to use that as the end of the finial, because then it won't be a nice point. So what do we want? We want to make one like that? Or do we want the audience to say, hey, make a bead on the end? No. Okay. All right, we're ready? Are we set? So I'm going to do my chicken wing. I'm saying that so you can go away with something. 1800 RPM. I'm just going to cut in. Whoops. I put my elbow up. Stop. Now do cutting backwards. But I'm left-handed. My force is up against the tool. Go around. Now, how long do we want to make it? We can come in here. Wow, I haven't done this in a couple days. There's a lot I got to remember. I'll mark it a little bit. But I'm going to cut it away, so I got to remember it. So I'll stick this up here. There's a lot of wood that I go waste. Right in here. Right in there. From here down. So how would I do that? Since I only want 3 tools, or I'll get rid of this tool. I only want 2 tools. And I'm going to do something. Carl may help me here. I can do this, but it's going to catch, right? Everybody's like, no, it won't. It will. But you got to ride on top of it. And as you come down to the narrow spot, what it does is get up on the radius of the tool, and it will turn it sideways. So if you hold it tight, not to worry. So I'm going to get rid of some of this wood. Ooh. Make it easier on me. And then you get rid of, I don't need a tool rest. I'll use this tool rest. It's a finial tool rest. And it makes it easier. There's 5 rules or 7 rules that she talks about on page 2, the very top. I actually put number 1 in there. Stay on top of the wood, because if you don't, you're going to pull the wood up and break it. So the other ones are, take away the tailstock, good wood support. So I'm saying that this is supported enough for me to work with. Balance the wood forces. I can come in with my 2 fingers, go on the bottom, just barely brush it, and use a tool like this. And, you know, I'm doing a little bit more controlling. And this really helps when you're doing finials. Smaller work. This is a finial, but it's not that small, right? So I'm balancing the forces, work with the tailstock towards the headstock. So instead of making this small, it's a no-brainer. You're gonna break it off. And then a light touch and careful aim. Number 5 could be difficult for you. So very simple. Start and push my tool straight in. Turn. I'm going to cut that end off. I'm going to get my little point there, and I got to get rid of some more wood. This becomes preference. So if you notice, I am kind of peeling it, but I'm also breaking the fibers off. But hey, I'm getting there. Okay, yeah. Get my, oop, see there, I had to open flute. Yeah, just easy. Don't make it too sharp. Fall off the tree and poke somebody. So I got a lot of wood there still. I can make it fat. Yeah, let's make it fat. So again, preference. I'm looking at my little bead. So I need to do a bead. So either I can start in, waste some of this wood, and come across. Oops, I broke my rule. See, I always want to come in center and just take the wood away. Once you get going faster and faster. So what, whoops, where are my design elements is a cove, you know, a bead on end, and then this cove, sharp point, and this is what it really looks cool. It's doing these sharp turns. Looks better on the camera. And then you can get into design when you do the her design method over here, and you do the golden mean. This up in here usually is a lot thinner than the finial at the bottom. And again, see, I'm holding my thumb with the tool, and I got that flute open. And a left-hander, he's always just going to use the nose. He can't. I'm going to leave this fat. See, I can only do that. I can't plane. Somebody else can plane like this. So you guys are just have a big advantage. Oops. Get ready for my bead. I always put these sharp looking cuts. Oops. Stay on top. See how simple that is? Just glide it through there. Nice cut. Don't even have to sand it. So which way do you want your bead? If you look on the last page, it talks about spears. Maybe not the last. Yeah, last page does spears. So what is a spear? It's a round circle, right? But there's a method in making a spear to look perfect. And then if you're going to make a spear, I'm not going to make a spear. I'm going to make a bead. But I just want to point out, there's like this little formula. You start out making this, you know, you're not like Stuart Batty, right? Or not. Who's the baseball guy? Sorry, I hope this isn't recorded. He makes a perfect baseball. So he'll make a flat piece of wood and he'll make a curve just perfectly. For us amateurs, we got to do like an octagon and do away with the little tiny corners. So there's like a little formula that you can do, like 0.293 back from this edge to there. And then there's another formula of 0.414 to the diameter of that, and you mark that, and then you cut it at a 45. So once you cut that at a 45, then you just, cut off the next little edge of the octagon. So it goes with an octagon to a hexagon to a pentagon. It keeps on going up. And then you'll have the perfectly round spear. So, but these are beads. So you want a bead to be heavy on one side and light on the other when it's hanging. So did I do that there? No, I almost made it like a perfect bead. But if you make it like the one that fell, this bead, why did I make it heavy on one side and not on the other? It's because when it's turned up, it looks like the bowl. So you kind of want that design in your mind when you, so if I'm going to hang it in a tree, which way should that be? Should it be, should it be like a bowl, or should I just make a bead? I'll just make a bead. But I'm just pointing out that if you're going to form a bead, you're going to, if you're going to make it heavy on one side, just make your mark heavy up to the top or bottom. So if I do that, I want my heaviest part to be here. But I'm not going to, I'll make a bead. Is that all right, Carl?
Yep.
I was hoping you'd say no. So there's my, I actually got that line already for the bead. So I'm going to start on the, now see a little bit of wood being cut away. So now I know I'm rubbing the bevel. So I got control. If I didn't, I try to do it, I may skate. So I get that little first cut, and then I just roll it, lift the handle, go in. Simple as that. What happens when you get at the bottom? Try not to roll it all the way in there because it will skate out. I would demonstrate that, but it kind of just tear everything up. But if you come over here and you're coming there and you do that turn all the way in, it's going to pull out. It's going to mess up everything. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to do the other side. But first, let me get some room. Again, I'm pointing straight at it, straight to the center, pushing straight in. There you go. I'm already there. Now you take a skew and do the same thing, but you're only going to get down too far, right? This is going, can go all the way in. Maybe. Everybody's looking at me like, nah, no. So let's waste away and just make a bead. So I'm just using my index finger, turning it, lifting the handle up. Not the perfect bead. Yeah, the camera lets you get away with a little bit. So I got another element. So I'm going to come down and do that small element. And the good thing about this tool, it is pointy. I'm just getting rid of this wood. Turning my wrist. Whoops, may have made it too much. Oops. Right there. So we're just trying to make that. Might put my hand too far in. Another point feature, make the diameter here the same diameter as your other element to keep the weight. That's what she talks about. Oops. It's a dangerous cut. Let's get right to the Good. I'll live with that. Okay. Get rid of some of this wood. Now I'm just holding it flat I'm just pulling it and I'm holding it as hard as I can. Not hard, but holding it down. Another way would pick up another tool, but I was trying to say no, just a tool. Straight in. Here comes a, so again, just straight in. You see I already touched it and I got a mark. That means my bevel's going to be riding on that. Just come in, stay on top, just turn your handle. Easy stuff. Feed. Feed. Now I would stop here and sand all this. And also if I turn it off, see how good I should have did that after I was done here, but you see the breaks in it? I should have did that earlier, then come back. I don't know if you can see them, but you even see them, these are smooth. But if you look, could have went in farther, just different design elements to remember. But you see the fractures under the wood right here. I should have went one more time, but I can't because look at the vibration. I could try. No. So you're done. You can probably sand it out, but see, I'm teaching you things. Go ahead.
I've never made that mistake, but if I did. But if I would have,
Yeah.
I would have taken the point out of my tailstock and brought it up to the end of the video there.
Yeah.
And that would have stabilized
To his point, that's good. That's real good, Carl. Thank you.
It can create a little mark on the end, but.
Yeah.
And okay, you got that.
So this is, yeah, exactly. Good point. Thank you. So this is, if you look on their rubber Chucky, there's a bearing in there. They make different size bearings, but he's right. When you put it in there, you can mark it up. I've been able to sand it out, but you do still have marks. So you could put it up there like that and hope it don't break it, you know. There. Hey. Thank you, Carl. You want one of these packets? So now I can come in here, point right at the middle. Nope.
That's something you bought or you made that out of wood? That yellow.
Oh, this is rubber Chucky,
Oh, okay.
the manufacturer.
You could make one out of wood.
You can make it out of wood and you can buy the thread. I did that. Yeah, put it on there. But even it wobbles a little bit, but it had that bearing in it. Just another tool to buy. Make you, more tools you get, the better you become.
You need more cabinets. Hold this stuff.
So it's nice and smooth and we can sand it down. We can part it off. It's not the greatest, but it is done. But we have one more we're going to turn, right? Not going to walk out yet. And there you have it. You have that one. You can do a little hand sanding on it and everything. What's that? With this, you buy this on the internet or at your local store. It comes with, it's soft wood. So you can, these come with drill bits. You can put in there, or if you had it other way around with some other one, you could have put it in earlier. But you take the drill bit and drill it in. Oops. Drill it into the end, and then screw your eye in. So what do you call this? A pin tool? A pin? Thank you. Pin chuck. Yeah. And then it comes with some drill bits that you can put in there. So, and then it comes with some drill bits that you can put in there. So, pretty easy. And then you just, these are too small for some of them. I use larger ones if you could. Okay, one more thing, then we can have the prize.
You wanna pass that thing around?
Sure. Well, you want to pass one that I took my time on and I was not shaky. Oh boy, we're getting to the big wood. I didn't talk about chucks, but my journey of chucks. Old Faithful, Vic Mark, my very first one. You can see I'm using it the most. I bought this recently. Stainless steel, weighs about 8 pounds. Annexer. So you buy the chuck, but then it has what they call the O'Donnell jaws. O'Donnell dovetail. And it comes with 3 different jaws in there. So you have the first set is like 50 millimeter, but then you have these others that screw into it. I have the smallest one in there right now. So you got one, the small one. And also the way they're designed is they have spigots on them. And what I mean by the spigot part of it is this long part right here. And here's the small, they do a small dovetail on the, oops, here. So the spigot you can hold, you know, stick in a pin blank or something, just like that one is in there, stuck in there now. And you can turn it. So I just wanted to show you that you can buy this. This was $150. This is like $200. So you got a pretty good investment, but you got 3 jaws in one, and they're pretty quick to change out and everything. But then you got the next faithful is Vic Mart with their bigger extended jaws, and they make like 4 different sizes. If you look, a lot of times you can't get them all. There's only 2 being sold with Packard, but you can get different sizes. And this is great for turning salt mills because of the diameter of it. Salt mills, salt, pepper. Yeah. So I just wanted to point that out since I brought it, right? So I'll use Old Faithful. Should I use Old Faithful or these? That one. Why wouldn't I use this one? Let's see. So the rule of thumb on chucks is you don't let this go out because it could hit you in the knuckles and you kind of, so that should be the largest that I should do with this one. But I may have goofed up and put the wrong jaw in. Oh, that ends the demo.
They say the optimum opening is when it's formed the closest to a circle on the inside of the jaw. But
Exactly what Carl said.
I don't follow that. That would be perfect.
So I do have another chuck that has the right one. Now I remember, forget it. All right, let's turn the Christmas tree, not too fast, so I don't get hurt. And I'm not one of those that turns the lathe on. Forget that. Who does that? Lee does that.
He does that all the time.
Yeah. hurt. I got too many cuts on me. So I'll do my little X. Got this in there. Hope nobody says, oh, he shouldn't be doing that. Well, maybe I shouldn't. I forgot the other jaws. Okay, who took the pointy thing? Oh, here's the pointy thing. All right, who wants to turn the Christmas tree? Me? Oh. Trying to hurry now. So I know there's someone who wants to get Thanksgiving shopping done. Oh, almost forgot, didn't I? There we go again. Ah, Dan. All right, we'll make this quick. Maybe. Okay, got my tool rest kind of where I need it. All right, here we go. Look good, Carl? Did I mess up yet? Feel like I'm doing something wrong. Chicken wing. Are you going home with that thought? Chicken wing? No? And my efforts are over. Oh, smelly cedar. Got the wood compliments of Palm Beach Woodworks. Am I okay? Give me that look. Ooh. Oh, let me turn it up on it. I know I moved the lathe. Okay, I'm gonna make a cone. How big do we want to make this one? Bigger we get. Hey, everybody shows you. They say, okay. Design is. Oops, sorry about that. Don't move the lathe or tool rest. What do you want the end to be? Ball? Nah. Okay. I remember what I'm doing. So all the fibers are crushed in there, so I'm going to bring it out. First one, second branch, next branch. You can come through here and do all the measuring you want to, but I'm trying to, whoops, I didn't do that one that way. I'm trying to make them farther apart as I go up. Does it kind of look like a screw or anything? So here's the branch. Here's the base. All right, I'll try not to. Did we lose our sample? I guess this is my sample right here. I think that looks good. I got this too spaced out, but we're in a hurry. At least I am. So get rid of those broke fibers. Okay, I'm done. All right, straight in cut. Hopefully won't escape. How simple is that? And here comes that 35. Makes it look funny. And I've got some broke fibers. Okay, I'm just going to come in here. You should start at the middle. Follow my own rules. And you can play with the depth. So there's my first one. Look at that, it's the same as the bevel. I got it turned a little bit. First one. Look at that, it's the same as the bevel. I got it turned a little bit. Whoops, messed up. Start over. Got carried away. So I messed up. Oops. Trying to follow my own rules, staying way up top. And I made it a little bit too deep. It's okay. We'll put this on the back side of the tree. We'll put Bill's name on it. That's his. Hopefully he's been nice this year. Gets one present at least. And I'm making these too deep. Sorry about that, guys. Getting carried away. This wood is so soft. And well, that's what it makes different, right? You make one totally different from the others. This one came from the Okie forest. That's why it looks this way. Come on, catch, so I can show everybody. Not perfect. Straight in. Can't go wrong. Oh, no, I got carried away. Now, some people do this with a skew. I don't know if you've seen that. That's awesome. Skew is a flat blade. You know, so far, so good. Oops. Had the blade open. See how easy that is. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, I do have to change one tool. Do the base. And back. You can get fancy here. Make it OG. See if we can. See how much fun that is? You can just make all kinds of cool things. And usually you make the base smaller, right? Is that right? Let's make the base smaller. So I would have sanded this already too, by the way. Let's do an OG. This is not the Cindy Gross. She does a perfect one. Okay. Sand it, you can paint it, you can make cuts in here. Oh, one more cut. If it sits on the table, you always put a shadow line here. Gives it lift. So far, so good, Carl?
Yep.
I'm going to go in a little bit so it sits on the outside, so I'm not going to go straight in. Ta-da! Whew. There it is.
Like 1, 2, 3.
That's great. I don't have anything else. Thanks. Thank you for putting up questions.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. You can take over?
Yeah.
Unless,
It'll take about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, clean up here, and we'll know what business meeting. Please stick around.